So I haven't really been updating or using the Trendspotter system or last week because I'm working on a new scalping indicator system. So I haven't really published those videos because it's up and down, so mix kind of moves. I'm not really paper trading it. I'm using just smaller share sizes like 100 shares, 200 shares. So there's nothing really interesting or worth talking about there. And I didn't want to post Trendspotter videos of what you've missed or what you could have done and all that, because I don't know if anyone really wants to see that. You can just see from Trendspotter what's going on. But anyways, let's talk about the move here today. Okay, so basically Roku was looking at Roku, Netflix, Beyond, and Nvidia as usual. Huge sell off on Nvidia, so there was no real trade there until right in here 9:52. But I had my trade started at 9:53 really. So the reason I didn't take the Nvidia one over the Roku one was when I saw the buy signal here on Roku. Let's make that big. Okay, here's my buy signal, but my indicator was still red at 9:50. Okay, so technically that was the first trade down there. If you went long on Roku, or if you skipped the first one, you could have went short here on Roku. But I was kind of looking at other indicators and I hesitated and missed it. So that was a $2.77 straight down move, a nice easy move on Roku there. But you can see when the indicator turns there, it was still, the buy was in the red, and then it hadn't confirmed, it was going green, and then as it confirmed here, this was what I call a falling knife. So this is just going straight down, so I skipped it. And then I got in here when I saw the first green, just in case that kept going straight down. All right, and then to oblivion. So 9:53, I got in right in here at 78.11, and I took 2,000 shares. So 78.11 right there. And I sold my first partial at 9:56. So first partial in here, that was $890, 1,000 shares out, and then I let it ride all the way up. So it went all the way up to $4.88, right? Well, actually it went higher. It went to $5.24. But what happened was I saw it here, and the reason I didn't get out in here, I actually stopped out right here at 10:08 at 82.32. So right just about there. So here's what happened. So as it was going up and up and up, there was no pullback on it. There was no real pullback. It just kept going up. And then when these candles, well, actually there was a kind of a to and fro here. I was well up at that stage, well up. It never came back to my entry. So well up. And then it took off. And because it took off, oh God, so much money started appearing on my screen. Took off. And then so what I was kind of saying to myself is I'll get out the first candle that starts to kind of open lower and maybe get out halfway down the candle. Kind of like a trailing stop, but yeah, mental trailing stop. So that went straight up, and this went straight up, and then it came back here, and then it opened here and started going down red. And I said, right, that's it, I'm getting out. So I got out kind of right about there, 32. And I left money behind. Okay, I could have stayed in. It still would have been well in the green. But that move there, this move from here to here was $4,200, $4,210, which brought me up to $5,100 on the day. One trade and done for the day. Okay, let's see what happened with Nvidia. So Nvidia here, where am I? Sorry, right here. Okay, so straight sell off. Okay, there we go. 9:30. Look at that. Can't get in any of that. It's all red. Wait for the green. There's your green. There's your first entry. There's your first entry, guys. Couldn't be simpler. There's the entry. 5.06. $5.06. Okay, and the rest of it, mess. Okay, and actually a lot of them are doing this now. The SPY must be consolidating inside us. Let's just pull the SPY up here and see what's going on. Yeah, see, that's mirroring that in my, see this sideways here? That's this. You can actually see it, the line's actually going over it. And this big move down is this big move down. Netflix just did the opposite of the SPY, but Netflix tends to do what it wants because, well, sorry, that was Nvidia. I called that Netflix. That was Nvidia. Because everyone's at home watching Netflix, I suppose. Okay, so moving on. 9:30. Okay, so here now, this is a tricky one. Okay, I didn't take it. What would you have done if you were getting in? Would you have taken it? So there's a sell signal here, but it's green. So you got to wait two more, and then do you sell going in here? There's a part of me that says, yeah, I would have taken it. It's obviously a losing position, so you have to get out in your dollar. It's at $3.82. So like it's just, oh, that's just a mean move. You're out there. You don't even know what happened to you. So yeah, technically you would have lost $1 on that. And no more. You can't sit through. Well, also on the flip side as well, guys, I always say that you shouldn't get in more than 60 cents below the EMA. So that EMA is at 344. We'll just make it 345 to make it round. excuse me, 345, and your entry would have been 342. We'll call it 340. So that's a $2 entry. So I wouldn't do that, because I always say, and you'll hear me say it in my previous videos, it has to pull back to the EMAs, or it usually pulls back to the EMAs when it's really extended off it, and that's exactly what that did. Now that didn't pull back, that just reversed. So take it or leave it, guys, if you want, make what you want out of that move. But here's another move. So red down here, can't go long, wait, green. Don't get in on a red candle, get in on a green candle. There's your entry right there. Now if you did, it doesn't matter, right? But I don't. So I'm not cherry picking this. I'm saying don't do it. In this instance, you were fine. It worked, but that could just go red and red down here. So we'll wait for the green. Netflix gave you an $11.70 move. So the thing about when you're playing with the big boys like Netflix and Tesla and all them is that I don't really trade them anymore, because you need to have a $2 and $3 and $4 stop loss, all that kind of stuff, and I just can't sit through it. I can't. I'd rather take a larger position size on a smaller stock, get $1 or $2 and get out. I don't have the patience to sit through $11.70 move. I don't have the training to sit through that kind of stuff. That's the big lads that can do that. But if you're that guy and you can sit through it because you're amazing, that was $11.70 right there, all up. And where were we saying we were getting in there? And yeah, technically I suppose you could have got the smaller move. This is probably what most people would have got. Would have been like, that's a $4.79 move before it pulled kind of right back to almost entry, 33 cent. You'd be hovering on the, or 27 cent, hovering on the get out. But if you didn't, then you got the rest of it, because there was no real reason. Maybe up here you would have got out, but like, Jesus, you would have got a $4 move or a $10 move, or hung on for the $11.67. Probably only have a couple hundred shares left up here. So that's pretty. Oh, let's have a look at Beyond, I suppose. I don't know what Beyond is anymore. It's just nothing really. Yeah, look at that. Blah blah blah. So it's funny how you see the SPY sideways and you see Beyond that, and there's Nvidia doing it. So if you're trading, unless you know something I don't, I just stop trading now and finish up. But I'm up $5,100 on the day. Again, no videos last week because I'm trying my new system. I don't know if I'm going to release it as an indicator or if I'll just keep it for myself. It has massive potential. Kind of the same as this, but it's probably easier to use because you don't have to stay in it's more scalpy. You don't have to stay in the stocks as long. But for those of you that are using Trendspotter and it's working for you, great. For those of you who signed up and didn't give it any chances, well, you're lost, because here it is working. Okay? As always, guys, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe for more info, and if you require a trial of Trendspotter, click the link in the description. Talk to you in the next one.